Jasmine Pink Queen, and welcome back to my channel. If you have not already, subscribe to my channel and go ahead and leave a comment and a like, and that will help me out a lot and put me in the algorithm. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and get started. Today I thought since I was getting ready to go somewhere, I will go ahead and I will try to do like a little mini story time in the process. I don't know exactly what I'm gonna call this yet. It might be a series. But I basically just want to talk about my experience with um, some bosses I've had while working. Um, so yeah, let's go ahead and get started. I guess I'll just go ahead and I'll start from the beginning. Um, so all right, so like I'm gonna start a couple of years ago. Um, as you guys know, I'm a mom. I have a kid. Um, so while I was raising my son, I took some years off. Like I was still looking for jobs, but I couldn't really find anything. So I was kind of like taking some time and just raising him and you know, still looking, but like I wasn't really hearing anything back. So, I took some years and was like just raising my son. So then I would say around about 2019, I my mom was talking to one of our cousins, and she was saying how she got this job at this place. I'm not gonna name any names for this job, only because confidentiality reasons. But she was just saying how she got this really good job, and she said she'd been working there for a while, and she said what helped her get the job was taking these night classes at this local community college. So my mom was telling me about it. And I was like, oh, okay, like, you know, I've heard of people like doing this particular job. Basically, it's like you're helping out like people who are like in need, and they may need like assistance for a certain type of benefits. I'll just put it that way. So I was like, okay, like I was interested in it, because I heard people that work there, like I heard they pay good, which now that I'm in there, they don't get paid that much. They really don't. They don't get really paid shit. But at the time, like I was like, oh, this is gonna be a good paying job. Like, I mean, they do have good benefits. I was like, I'll be able to get 401k and da da. I was excited. I was like, okay. So she was like, yeah, she was like, look it up and see like when you can take those classes, so you can possibly get a job. So I was intrigued by it. So I was like, okay, like I'm gonna see if I can find anything and this and that and the fourth. So I was looking around. I saw they did have some classes in my area, so I decided to sign up. I was like, okay, cool. Like because the way it was sounding, like it was like as soon as you go through these classes, you'll be able to get the job. So that's what I was under the impression of thinking. And I think my mom was too. So I was like, okay. So I signed up for the classes, and so I couple of months because I think I signed up like in the summer. I'm thinking, yeah, it was like during the summertime of 2019, and the classes didn't start until like fall. So I was like, okay, like let's do it. So fast forward, the classes get started. So the classes last about, I want to say, 6 weeks, I think. I'm not gonna bore y'all with all the details about it. So basically, like it was like a training course with this particular program that this job uses. Like they use this particular like type of uh program to put their information in to see if somebody was qualified for this particular like thing. And you just had to pretty much know how to like navigate the system. Um which that in itself was not that hard. Like I thought it was gonna be like really complex. That in itself was not hard, but the policy that came with it, that's what made it like more complicated. But the lady that taught the class, she didn't really like go over like um the what's the name, like the policy and stuff. She was just basically showing us like how to navigate like the different like systems and things like that. So okay, let's see. Just checking. So we get started with the class, and if I'm gonna tell you, like the lady that taught the class, she actually worked at the place, like like in one of the places, like she was actually doing like that type of work, and like she was like showing us how to navigate it, and I thought she was okay. Like I thought she was like pretty cool or whatever like that. Like she was like always talk about how she was like a single mom when she first started, because I think she said at the time she'd been there like over 20 some years. Like it was like 20 years at the time, like she had been there, and she was just saying how yeah, like like I was a single mom starting off here, and she pretty much like climbed the corporate ladder, and I don't know why, but I kind of looked up to her in regards to that because you know me being a single mom and trying to build something for myself, I was excited about it. I was like, I looked at her for inspiration really, and was like, yeah, like what is that? I'm sorry, I got a notification on my thing. But anyway, so yeah, I looked up to her. I really looked up to her for like inspiration and stuff like that. I got some stuff on my nose. Anyway, so yeah, we was doing the classes, and so one day in particular, um, we was like leaving, and I was like one of the last to like lead the class, and so it was just like me and her in there, and the lady that was teaching the class, and she like been there like all that time and stuff like that. So I remember her saying something like, guys, it's been like over 6 7 years since this happened, so I don't really know like her exact wording, but she's kind of said something like along the lines of like you how she said that thing. She was like, you ain't got she was like, are you working anywhere right now, like that, right? And I just told the truth because I wasn't. I was like, no, I'm not working anywhere right now. I said, but I'm been looking and things like that, and I was just telling her I've been raising my son and stuff like that, right? Do you know she had made some kind of smart ass comment talking about, like, it must be nice to be home. Like, trying to make it. I'm like, girl, like, no, why you had to say it like that? Like, but, I didn't pay it no mind at the time, because I don't know why, but I just really wanted this bitch's approval, and I don't know why. But, yeah, we had walked out, and she was just always, like, always kind of act, like, weird towards me for some reason. Like, in hindsight now, I see that. And I don't know why she did me like that, but she did. But I was like, I don't know why, but I just really like kind of like looked up to her and I wanted her to like me and respect me because like I liked her and I respected her, but whatever. So all right, I'm back. I had to blend this out real quick. All right, but yeah. So fast forward, we're still going through the classes, and I'm realizing like, okay, like the navigation part is not that bad. I mean, it's just a matter of you going through it and things like that. So, it was like at first it started off with like the class being like, because it was all women in there. It started off with being, I want to say like about, I want to say like 12 people was in the class. I kid y'all not, fool. That class ended. It was probably a good like four, maybe five of us left. Like people was like it's the classes like was progressing. She like a lot of people was realizing like I don't think I can do this, and so they would leave. You know what I'm saying? So, and I remember like one time, like when we was leaving the class, we was in the elevator, like me and the lady that was teaching the class. Let me give her a name. We're gonna call her Lace, just because I'm looking at this Lace thing on my thing. We're gonna call her Lace. So Lace was like, oh, like it was just me and her in the elevator. She was just talking about how like everybody was leaving the class, and like she was saying like, but she was like, I see like a lot of potential in you. Like, I feel like you're gonna like go far and excuse me and do good. And I was like, okay, like yeah, like I was agreeing with her, like And I really, for, excuse me, y'all, I got the hiccups. I drank some coffee, but I felt like special in a way because like she thought like enough of me to be like, oh yeah, like I can see you like going far in this thing and whatnot. I was like, oh okay, yeah, like I think I can too. But so one day during class, like she wanted us to watch like this webinar thing on this particular website. And for some reason, like my computer wasn't picking it up, so I had to move like on to another computer basically. And so even that computer was kind of like giving me a hard time. Everybody else was kind of like having like technical issues, like either with the sound or in them little jacked up headphones she gave us wasn't really working. But we had to watch this webinar so we can learn how to like do this particular thing. So I remember she walked by and she wasn't like helping anybody out, but I just was like, hey, like this computer's not working like that, right? She gonna turn towards me, y'all, and she was like, I'm gonna get to it in a minute. Like she just really snapped at me, and I was like, whoa, like what the hell? She snapped at me like that, like. And mind y'all, like I wasn't like rushing her, like she wasn't helping nobody else out. She just walked past. And I just asked, I said, well, I need help, and she snapped. She was like, I'll get you in a minute, and she didn't do nobody else like that. Even when they was like asking her questions, like when she was in the middle of something, it just kind of made me feel some type of way. I'm not even gonna lie. So we finished the class, and then oh yeah, so I'm gonna add this part too, so because I don't want to keep harping on the class too much because I want to get to the other part. So by the time the class was over, like we had to take like a final exam, like so to speak. Like no, it was two like final exams. So we had to take one basically like how to navigate the system, and we had to do like how to like basically had to see if we could get the like coverage approved for like for our thing. And I ended up doing good on it. Like I had some little problems there first, but I ended up doing it. I ended up getting the job done. And so I passed that part, and then we had to take another quiz where it was kind of like basically like you want to see how the way you do your math, how well you do like certain like reading things and other stuff. And I didn't think I was gonna do good on that part. I'm gonna be real, because I mean I'm good in English and stuff like that, but that math, child, like But I ended up doing good. I ended up passing everything, and so I think it was like one other day we had, and then we was gonna be done with like the entire class. So we was this was like I said, the class lasts about 6, maybe 8 weeks. So this was around about like a little after Christmas, like when the class was getting ready to end. And so no, it ain't. I'm lying. Let me think. Because I think one set of the classes lasted about 5 weeks, and I think another set lasted about 5 weeks. Because it was like two courses, like two like phases or whatever like that. But I know, I'll put it this way: I know by the time the other class ended, it was probably around about, I want to say like mid January of the following year, so 2020, like a little before the pandemic had happened. So this was around by that time, like. So I know we was getting ready to go or whatever like that. And I remember like even during the like we was like cuz we was kind of talking and stuff like that. And she was like, "Yeah, about this TV for Christmas, like, and it's going to be here today." And I was like, oh, "Okay." Like everybody was just like, "Oh, all right, cool." Like, we were just talking to her or whatever like that. So we was getting ready to go. And so out of nowhere, like imagine the whole time like she been there, she ain't never like really acted like this, like, except for that one time she snapped me up at the computer. But I remember like everybody was walking out, we were all leaving. She was kind of like rushing everybody out too. She was like, "Okay, y'all, we got to go, we got to go." And she never did that before. She was rushing everybody out. And so I usually took the elevator to go back to my car, but today I decided to take the stairs because the elevator was just taking forever. And so I'm standing. Well, this was at first. I was kind of like standing by the Now I was getting ready to stand by the stairs, and so she coming up behind me, and this other girl was beside her. She was like, "Yeah, we got to go. Come on, I got to go. I got to get this TV hooked up." And she kind of like was like rushing me. Like, mind you, I had my hand on the doorknob getting ready to go down, and she was like, "Come on, I got to hurry up. I got to go. I got to go." And I'm like, why the hell she acting like that? Like, I don't know. But the class was over. I passed everything. So fast forward, I didn't really hear anything else. Like the pandemic happened, and I was putting in applications. Oh, I forgot to tell y'all this part. So one day during class, like I said, I was under the impression like we took these classes that automatically like means you qualify for like getting this particular job. Because that's what I was under the impression of, of assuming. I put it that way. So one day somebody was talking about it. It was like, yeah, like somebody was telling me like if I apply here, I mean not apply, like if I take these classes, I automatically get the job. And she was like, well, no, like it don't work that way. She was like, anybody can take the class. She said I can have a client come in and I can help them out. They can take the class, but they don't mean they're gonna get the job. She was like, it helps with your resume, but it don't mean you automatically get the job. And I was like, oh, like, because I thought that it meant like we automatically get the job. Because that's what I was under the assumption of thinking. So I was like, damn, like, that's kind of like a downer. Like, so you might get a job. I mean, help with your resume because people see that you got experience with it, but it don't mean you're going to automatically get the job. But anyway, fast forward, like, coming back to, like, I was putting in applications. This was during the pandemic. I wasn't hearing anything back. And so some time passed. I would say like another, like this was like the following year. So I was putting in some more applications because I was like ready to go back working. Like my child was a little bit older now. I was like, he back in school. You know, one thing about it, like I ain't had to pay no daycare, and I was kind of happy about that. But still, like I was like, mommy needs some money. So I was kind of glad he was like in school now, and so I was like, okay, like let's go back, see if we can get a job or whatever like that. So fast forward, it is April, not April, yeah, April 2021. I'm putting in applications like crazy, not hearing anything back. So then I was able to get this one job I had applied for. It was for, what was it for? This call center at this college. And I was like, okay, like I guess I'll work here. And, I mean, it was part time and it was temporary. I was like, I can get that until I can get something else. I was cool with it. So I put in an application for that. And a couple of weeks later, they called me for a job interview. I went in, and I was able to get the job. And I was supposed to start in May. So okay, so I'm in the job, doing what I need to do, and I like the job, but I was just like I've been really, I was getting frustrated because I knew it was just like a summer position and I wasn't going to be there long. So I was like on the hunt, still putting in the job applications other places, and I wasn't hearing anything back. And then I remember like I told my supervisor, like the job, this call center job I was working at. I said, I said, well, if y'all have any permanent positions, I said just let me know, because I was getting frustrated not putting in job applications, not hearing anything. So I saw they had an opening for the place where um what I was going to classes for, and they had some openings available. I was like, okay, cool. So, and that's where the lady was working at that did our classes. So I put in an application, and I remember I had scheduled a doctor's appointment. And so when the all right, y'all, I'm sorry about that. My son came in here. He was like, I need something. I'm like, what do you need? Anyway, he couldn't tell me what it was. Anyway, so what was I at? Oh yeah, so I was putting in an application and I found that they had positions open for that when I went to for the classes, they had some positions open, so I put in applications. So I remember I got a call back, and the lady was like, "Oh yeah, we need you to come in on this day." And I had a doctor's appointment scheduled for that day, so I was like, I ain't told her. I said I have a doctor's appointment scheduled for that day. She was like, "Okay, no problem." And she was like, "We'll see what we can do." And she hung up. So then I remember I called my mama back. And she was like, "Well, you need to reschedule your doctor's appointment and call them back. Tell me you're interested." I was like, "Okay." So I did that. And it took a while, but they ended up calling me back that evening. She was like, "Yeah, we need you to come in on this day for this job interview." I was like, "Okay, cool." So I went in and did the job interview. And I was nervous, y'all, the whole time. Because I think it was like the following week, that job interview. I was so nervous. Because, like, I was like, yo, this is going to be my first, like, big girl job. Like, I was nervous and I want to make a good impression. But I did it. I did the job interview and this and that. And so a couple of weeks passed. I ain't heard nothing. I was like, well, maybe they got somebody else. I ain't think too much of it. But then I remember the day after my birthday. No. Let me back up a little bit before that. So, like, probably like 2 weeks after that, the lady that interviewed me called me back. She was like, we're going to need for you to do a drug test. And what else she said she needed? She was like, you need to do she needed my driver's license number, and she wanted me to do a drug test. So I told my mom. She was like, yeah, that means you got the job when they do that. But she didn't say I had got the job. I was like, well, I don't know. So then after that, a couple weeks later, the day after my birthday, the supervisor called me that interviewed me, said that, yeah, are you still interested in the job? We want to give you a job offer. And y'all, I was so excited and I was so happy because, like I said, this was like my first big girl job. And like I said, I was under the impression like these jobs pay a lot of money, and I was gonna be doing good for myself, my son. Like I was really excited about it. And she was like, yeah. She was like, but I'm gonna tell you right now. She said this gonna be my last day here. Like the day she was calling, she said this is my last day. She said I'm gonna be working in another department. She said, but she said I just wanted to give you the good news before I left. She said I got good faith in you. I feel like you're gonna do well. And so, she said, and I'll see you like when we have like the little functions, like for the the county functions and whatnot. She said, but yeah, she said you're gonna do well. So basically, when I'll be starting there, I wouldn't be having a supervisor. Is what she was telling me. But I didn't. I mean, I was excited about that. I really didn't care about that. I was just happy I got the job, and I was like, yay! Like I'm gonna have a job. I'm gonna be doing good. Like, so I had to go ahead and do my drug test and all of that stuff, and so I ended up starting like late that month. So I put in my 2-week notice at the call center, and then I left. You know. It seemed like they was very sad about me going. I actually like working there, right? That call center. It was really cool. So fast forward, I started working there. Guys, like I said, when I first started there, I ain't had no supervisor. And it's like for the longest, like they wanted me to just read like policy and do these quizzes. But as far as like training and all of that, none of that did not start right away. I think training and stuff didn't like start until I was probably say late. I started in late July, and I want to say it didn't start until I want to say like late August, early September. Yeah, right by that time frame. That's when it like finally like started. So for the most part, like after I did those quizzes and stuff, like yeah, I would job shadow with some people, but I didn't I wasn't doing any work. Like I was just sitting there. And at the time when we was there, we was just in the office. Like we had offices and stuff like that. So we had like most of the time I just being able to door closed, just not doing nothing because they didn't give me anything to do. So I remember one day, I think I had been there probably for like maybe 2 weeks, if that long at this point. And I remember I ran into that lady that did the classes, like the classes I was, taking and, for the training and whatnot for to get the job. And she was there. She ran into me. She saw me. She was like, "Oh wow!" She's like, "You got the job here?" I said, "Yeah." And I was like, she was like, "How you feeling right now?" So I'm feeling okay about it. She was like, "I'm so proud of you and congratulations." And so, we had a good interaction. So whatever. So like, when I started training, I want to say we did training for like about 3 weeks, 2 or 3 weeks. And then next thing I know, the lady that was doing my classes or whatever like that, I see her in the training room. I'm like, what is she doing here? So I didn't think too much of it at first, but I saw she was in there. She had like the little binder like I had. And then, she was doing the training with us. Like, I was like, okay, like I didn't think too much of it at first. I was like, okay. So then I want to say like a couple of days later, the program administrator was like, oh yeah, like what I call a Lace. I said, she was like, Lace is going to be y'all's new temporary supervisor for that team I was on. I was like, oh, okay. Like I remember being excited about it. Like I said, I looked up to her. I thought she was really cool. I was like, all right, cool. Like she's going to be our new supervisor. All right, cool. But she was like, that's why she was doing the training with me. So, after that, we do training. And it's like soon as I did training, y'all, I kid y'all not. Like, they try to make it seem like, because it's like the trainers do things one way, but then you go out there and you actually like doing this work. It's like two totally different things. And that's what made it like so frustrating and so like what in the world is going on right here? Because it's like as soon as I got out of training, I mean, they didn't immediately throw me out there and start doing work, but they had me doing like a few cases a day. And it was like, it got really frustrating really quickly. But for some reason during that time, like I was just like, okay, like I'm going to tough it out. I'm going to do what I got to do. Like, I was like, I'm not going to let this deter me. Like, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do the thing. I was thinking like that. So, I'm doing the training. I'm doing the casework because I think they was giving me like probably like 2 or 3 cases to work on. But it was getting frustrating. Like I know, like once like my supervisor Lace came out of like training, like she was like it's like I think she automatically had to go in because she was the supervisor. But I know like I was calling her constantly like needing help, because it's like I said, like they showed me one thing in training, and then when I got out, it was something totally different. And even the trainers was like really patronizing, condescending. Like if I messed up on something, they was like, oh, we showed you how to do this already. I'm like, okay, yeah, you showed me how to do it, but it's still like not clicking, like because it was just a lot to learn. It was like it wasn't really necessarily hard stuff to do. It was just really, it was a lot. Like it was a lot to do in one time. I'll put it that way. It was just a lot. And it's like you're not gonna learn it overnight. You just not. And so I know like I was always calling Lace like, hey, I need help with this case, like what to do here. Because a lot of that stuff they didn't show us how to do in training. Like she was just reading from the damn book and just kind of was like, here you go. Here's your training. And it's like when I get back to my desk, I'm like, what the hell is this? Like, so I'm calling Lace, asking her to help me. And it's like it got to the point like at first she was okay, like, but then it got to the point like I guess I was calling too much. And she was like, I could tell she was getting like kind of frustrated with me and this and then the four. So I'm gonna kind of fast forward. Because this went on until like I would say from like October, and by December, holidays and stuff like that roll around. So we are informed. I can't talk today, y'all. We are informed that, well, they told me when I first got there, but it took a little while. They was gonna be moving to a new building, and at this new building, we won't be having like offices. We're gonna be in cubicles. I was like, okay, cool, whatever. So around about January, we move to the new building. So, you know, we packing up everything, we leaving, we going over there to the new building or whatever like that. So we go over there and, you know, take a couple of days to set up and all that good stuff. And then, you know, we start back getting, you know, into a little routine and doing our cases. And then, you know, by that time we had a new girl that started with with us. I think she had started like in early January. And so she ended up being like one of my good friends. Like we still cool to this day. I don't want to call her name because I don't know if she want her name on here, but she ended up being like me and her ended up being like really, really good friends. So yeah. So it was just getting to the point like I was getting kind of frustrated with these cases, like and all this work. And I was seeing now that people weren't gonna help you with so much. And that's why I had to take a lot of notes when I was doing this work because people weren't gonna help me with so much. And even people on my team, because at that time, like a few people had left and it got to the point where it's like, yo, I was like the only, besides the Lace, the supervisor, but everybody else on the team was white. I'm just being real. And like, I was kind of like the only black girl on the team. But of course, you know, my supervisor, she was black. But everybody, I mean, you know, and it's kind of like they didn't make me feel that welcome. But like I said, I was still trying to hang in there and do what I need to do. Because I had this money to be made. And I was just trying to prove to myself like I could do it. That's basically what it was. So fast forward, you know, the new girl, she come in, you know, me and her just kind of cleared off. She was black. She was a black girl too. We kind of hit it off instantly. Like we ended up just being really cool. Of course, even to this day, like me and her still cool. So, around about March, um, the program administrator tells us that Lace is going to be our permanent supervisor. I was like, okay. Like once again, like I really didn't have a problem with it, though she was kind of snappy with me at this point. I really didn't have a problem with it because I thought she was okay. Like I like you know, I really liked her. I looked up to her. So I'm like, okay, cool. Like she's gonna be our supervisor, permanent supervisor now. Cool. So I remember one time I had asked her a question about a case I was having problems with. Of course, I just want to put a disclaimer. Like I said, I take my notes. I always took notes for everything I did. I always made sure, like, before I asked any questions, I didn't ask before or I had some sort of information beforehand. So it's not like I was coming to her with the same problems. Like, when you work in a type of system, you're going to run into problems constantly. And it's not just me that'll be running into problems. Like everybody else is like, yeah, like this is happening, this is happening. Unless you're just like some OG expert and been there like for years and years and years. Even then you're going to have problems. I'm sorry, y'all, I thought I saw something. Even then y'all going to have problems. But for the most part, you're gonna have to have help. It just is what it is. So it's not like I was like, I forgot how to do this. Like, no, like it was like a new problem for a new case. And not only that, the system would be glitching out. Like it was just always something. And that's what I was running into. So I remember one time I had called her over to my desk to help me with something. And so she was like, okay, I'll be over. I'm gonna help you out. Lace was like she was gonna come over. So as soon as she saw me, y'all, it's like this was not the first time like she had done me like this. But it's like every time she would like kind of come over to my desk. And mind you, I ain't did nothing to this lady. Nothing. And even like when I was taking those classes, she kind of did me like that too. But she would kind of make this face like, and I'm like, what? Like, what did I do? And she wouldn't say nothing. And I'm just like, it would just be weird. So then there's one day when she came by when I asked her I need help, she said she was gonna come over. She looking at me all crazy, and I'm like, what? Like, and she looking at my desk. All this pink. I'm like, what the hell they got to do with anything? Y'all, hold on, let me put this on. Okay, y'all, I'm sorry. I had to make sure I put my eyeliner on right. I think I did okay. Anyway, so yeah, I was like, oh yeah, she was like, oh yeah, out is pink, out is pink, and she always had some like weird ass comment to say. Like one time she came at my desk, and like it's not like I never kept my desk nasty. Like my desk was always clean, and I could see if she had a complaint about that. Yeah, okay, yeah, we need to do better. Okay, like clean your desk off. Like I just had like some uh coffee and some cereal I was eating because I missed my breakfast. And she came on my desk. Mind you, people be eating at the desk all the time, but it's like she always has like some like weird ass comment to make to me. I don't know what it was. So this was another time. I'm kind of hopping around because I don't want to make this too long. We already like almost an hour into this. I'm gonna have to do a lot of editing. But anyway, so this was like another time. So this is like a couple months until like her being a permanent supervisor, whatever like that. So I remember this one time, like you know, I had a question. No. This client had called and they needed help with their benefits or whatever like that. So I was like, I knew enough to know, like, okay, like with her situation, she needed, like, she could get full coverage. Like, I knew that. And it won't like I told her, like, oh, she won't eligible. Like, I knew she was eligible. But some kind of way the system won't reading her as being, like, fully qualified. I'm like, what? And so I was like, well, maybe it's a glitch in the system. Maybe she's going to have to reapply. Like, that's how I was thinking. Maybe I could have reached out to Lace and let her know. But I was like, well, because I know sometimes like the system does a glitch and she may have to reapply. Like that's how I was thinking. And I told her that. So you may have to come up here and speak to somebody like that, right? Because it wasn't like I told her, oh, you ain't eligible. Like I knew she was supposed to be like supposed to qualify for what she was doing. So then I would say like a day or two later, and she always did this little shit. Like, so she was like, she can't, I think, did she call me or did she come over? I forgot, y'all. It's been some years ago, so I forgot. So she was like, oh, um, I need you to come by my office. I was like, okay. So I go by her office. Yeah, I'm wiping this pad off. I go by her office, and she like, oh, close the door. I was like, okay. And she was like, she was like, read this note. So, because every time we talk to a client or we work at that case, we gotta make a note on their case or whatever like that, like to show that hey, like somebody talked to them or whatever like that. So I'm reading the note, and it's the same lady that called. I'm like, oh yeah, like I ain't think nothing of it. I was like, yeah, I told her like yeah, she probably had to reapply because it wasn't reading her as eligible. And I knew enough to know like this lady needs to get full benefits. Like I knew that. But for some reason, the system won't reading it. I don't know why. Do y'all know this? Try not to cut. Y'all know this lady was like, why would you do that? I mean, she talking to me like I'm her damn child. Why would you do that? You can't talk that. You can't do all of this and that. I mean, she talking to me like I'm her damn kid. And I ain't never in no workplace had nobody talk to me like that. Never. I'm like, what? And it kind of taking me aback because it was like, whoa, like, and it made me think back to how she did me when I had those classes with her, and how she kind of snapped me up that damn time. I'm like, what? Like, what is this right now? Like, am I being punked? Like, and you can't do that, and didn't like you got to. I'm like, okay, why you just didn't call me? And granted, I probably could have just called her if I wasn't sure. But I was like, hey, yo, like, I just thought maybe it was a glitch in the system, like, and it's like by this point, like I know a couple of times I did call her, she always was yelling or had an attitude or getting snappy with me, and I'm just trying to learn how to do my job properly, like, you know what I'm saying? So I was just like, well, ain't like I told her, oh, you not eligible or you don't qualify. Now if I had told her that, then yeah, I feel like she'll have the right to be upset. But at least I told that lady, I said, well, you know, you probably had to come over here and talk to somebody because obviously it's not picking you up. You might have to reapply. You know, you don't do that. And I'm like, yo, like that really got me out with her. Like, you know, not. I mean, even then, I mean, she pissed me off, but I was still trying to hang in there for some reason. Like I was still trying to make her like me. I don't know why, which is stupid. Like it's like, yeah, don't make nobody like if people showing you they ain't fucking with you like that, believe them, believe their ass. Like shit, you ain't got to like me. Like now, I don't get two shits. Like I'm like fuck it. Like you gonna talk to me like that? Like I mean, yeah, I need the job and I need the money, but yo, ain't no job worth me taking somebody else's bullshit. It's not. But anyway, and there was another time too where it was kind of like a similar situation. It was something with the system, like the system, because during that time, like it was still kind of doing like COVID coverage. People who had because we couldn't really like get rid of people's benefits unless they requested it, and like because it was due to COVID. It was during this time period. So some kind of way it was like you had to take out like that COVID coverage so it can read a certain way. But it was very tricky. It was very tricky. So this is like I said, this is a couple months to her being a new supervisor. And so it was like another client had kind of like a similar situation. I was like, yo, I was saying that I didn't say yo, but I was like, this thing is not picking up. Like so she called me on the phone at my desk. It was the evening time. And she is screaming at me on the phone. This bitch screaming at me on the phone. I'm sorry, I'm getting passionate because I'm like, I don't know why I let that. I don't know why I let her ass talk to me like that. But she was like, "You should know this. I don't know why you don't know this, and you need to do it." I mean, the way she yelling at me, I'm like, "Girl, hold it. Who you talking to?" That's what, man. Y'all, I'm not even gonna lie. I'm a punk. Okay, I cry over everything. I'm a Cancer, so I'm not even gonna lie. When she was caught, when she did me like that, I was crying. I literally was at my job crying because she talked to me so bad. And I remember after that, I took 2 days off of work because this was like on a Wednesday. I remember that, so I took Thursday and Friday off because I was like, I said, fuck this shit. I said, right now, I just need a break. I've been working my ass off, coming in every day because during that time, I was barely taking any days off work. I was trying to really prove myself and show like, hey, I'm here. Like I barely took any days off work. I was like, I'm taking 2 days off work, bitch, and I need a break from this place, and I did that. Even yeah, she yelled at me so bad on the phone like that day, and I remember like when she first. I'm kind of hopping all over the place, but I just wanted to give y'all an idea like what I had to endure. So it was like another time, like this like after she first became like our supervisor. And during that time, like I said, this was like when the black girl first started. But you know, on our team, like I was probably like the only black girl at the time. Um, I'm just making sure everything looked good. So I kid y'all not, when she became the supervisor, pretty much all those girls left, and maybe it was for race reasons. Maybe they didn't want nobody black being a supervisor. I don't know, but I can't help but wonder, like, what if it was because of her damn attitude? You know what I'm saying? Because I kid y'all not, when she became my supervisor, permanent supervisor in March, all those girls ended up leaving before the year was out, and they want nobody but me and the girl. Me and her ended up being friends. I want to call her name so bad, but I don't know if she want her name on here. But we just gonna call her. I'm gonna call her. I'm trying to see if I can find a name. You can call her Nyx. You can call her Nyx. So yeah, me and Nyx ended up being like really good friends, and it got to the point like it won't nobody but me and Nyx on the team, and the supervisor Lace. Everybody else had left. Everybody else was gone and left, and it was just me and Lace and Nix doing all the work. We was doing the work of 5, 6 people on this team, and she gonna talk to me like that on the damn phone. Girl, yeah, I took 2 days off work. I was like, fuck this shit. Like, Beetlejuice palette. Anyway, but yeah, I'm like, so I'm gonna kind of fast forward a little bit. So round about, this was like towards the end of the year. So let's say about October, we ended up in September, October, we ended up getting like some new people to come in. So we got about between September and December, we got like 3 new people to come in. And so I think they quickly realized like, hey, like this place is crazy, like girl. And even like 2 of them was like, I know like I saw one girl in the house, like one of the girls in the house, the new girls on our team. She was like, yeah, she said I'm a little iffy about being here because she said I heard Lace is very mouthy. I was like, I ain't saying that because I don't gossip at work. I was like, well, I don't know. She was like, yeah. She was like, she got one time to try me. She was like, I ain't the one. She said, but I heard Lacey was real mouthy. And so another day, it was the 2 girls that just started. They was coming out of training, and they was kind of feeling like how I was feeling, like how they very condescending, smart ass mouths, smart ass responses, like kind of making you feel like something wrong with you because you're asking a question. Like they was like, y'all put up with this shit during y'all's training. I was like, yeah, girl. They was like, girl. They was like, it can't be me because this is ridiculous. Like, who does this? Like, they was like, these people is crazy. They talking to you like reckless, and she was like, I knew they weren't gonna be there long after that. So one of the girls, um, her son was like getting real sick. I don't want to put all her information, her business out there like that, but she was having some stuff going on with her son, basically, and so she had to take like extensive amount of days off work for this reason. Um, I mean, that's your child. Like it's just like no if ands buts about it. Like, girl, that's my baby. I feel you, you know. So I think it just got to the point where it was just being an issue for Lace and the the HR department and all of that. So they called her into a meeting, and so she was like, "Yeah." They was like, "Yeah, you got to do something about your attendance, like, because you can't keep taking all these days off because of your son." And I think about this point, she was already over the job anyway. So she came about that meeting. She called me. She said, "Look, I." She said, "I just quit." I said, "What?" She was like, "Yeah." She's like, no, they're not gonna sit here and tell me like I can't look out for my son and this and that and the fourth." I was like, "Yeah, you're right. You know, like that's crazy. That's crazy." But yeah, they did it. Like she ended up like quitting, and then the other girl was like, she kept taking days off too because she had like a newborn. The one that was like is lace mouthy. That's the one that was saying that she had like a newborn, and so she had to kind of take days off work because I think her child was like getting sick and stuff too. And so your mom got to do what you got to do. So she was like, basically on her day off, she was fired. This other girl, and so basically it was down to like, because we had another new girl, but she liked Lace. Like her and Lace were like really good friends, and she didn't really too much care for me for whatever reason. I have not done anything to this woman, but whatever. So her and Lace was like really cool, but she was there. So we had and she was a black girl too. And the other girls that the other new girls was black as well. But I don't know. I'm just kind of getting y'all an idea. Like the race really don't matter. I'm just kind of throwing it out there. Um, but yeah, they ended up firing the other girl on her day off, and I think it was like a big thing. Like her and like she was like saying some words to Lace and this and that and the fourth. Because I remember the next day, Lace pulled us into a meeting in her office, and she was like, "Yeah, I just want to be the first to tell y'all because because I know how people like to spread rumors and stuff around here, and but yeah, they're not gonna be with us anymore. I'm like, okay, like she was like, but yeah, I just want to let y'all know. So basically, it was just there. It was up to like three of us now. It was me, Nix, my homegirl, and the other girl that's cool with Lace. I don't know. We gonna call her Purple. So they were cool. They were cool. Okay, but I ain't gonna make this too much long. I'm gonna have to do a part two to this. But yeah, because there's a lot more other stuff I want to say. Because I'm getting ready to go. I just finished my makeup. Hold on, wait. Let me do a quick zip. Hold on. Let me spray my face. And I want to try to take my son to uh, the seafood restaurant. I just want to get out the house because I kind of been like a little hermit since I had the surgery. I still ain't got my stitches out yet. So yeah, I might have to do a part two to this. But yeah, that's the first part of this whole job. I'm calling my bosses from hell. This is gonna be a series. My bosses from hell. Cause bitch, I think they did came from the pits of hell the way they was acting, child. And like I said, I'm not trying to make it seem like I'm some this angel that does nothing wrong. Like I'm not saying that, girl. Cause it was like a few times folks and tried me, and I had to kind of say something back, like, girl. Of course, I kept it cute and professional because I'm at work, but at the same time, I had to kind of let you know, like, girl, I ain't the one. You know, you gotta let people know that, like, you ain't the one. But yeah, I think I'm gonna wrap this part up. Oh shit, I had to put my top at. I had to put my top on my foundation. We can't have that chair. But yeah, I think I'm gonna wrap this part up because I got a lot of editing and stuff to do. Let me do a quick lip. Hold on. Oh yeah, so I got my lip on. All right, yeah, I'm gonna go and wrap this part up. It's gonna have to be a part two to this. I think I'm gonna make a series out of it because I didn't work quite a few jobs, and all of them had some sort of boss, supervisor, director that tried me. Like, yeah. So yeah, this is gonna be continued. Thank you for watching. Y'all take care. Have a blessed day. Bye.